So, today I want to dive into this beast of a topic, the value ladder of a man in life as seen through the eyes of women. It's a complex, layered, and often misunderstood framework that quietly shapes the social and romantic dynamics between men and women. We'll break this down into roughly five major areas: physical, emotional, personal, which is personality and character, financial, and sexual value. Each one plays a role, and crucially, they interact in ways that can either amplify or undermine a man's perceived value. Now, the concept of the value ladder, first things first, what is it? Simply put, it's an unspoken ranking system that many women consciously or unconsciously use to assess the overall desirability of a man. Think of it as a mental scoreboard that tallies up what a man brings to the table across multiple domains. Now, it's always fair or logical? No. Is it real? Absolutely it is. We can see its effect everywhere: dating apps, relationships, marriage dynamics, even workplace flirtation. This ladder isn't static either. A man can either climb or fall depending on how he evolves or regresses in these five key areas. So let's take a closer look. Now, physical value, the first impression is probably the most important. This usually is the entry ticket. We're talking facial structure, height, muscle tone, body language, grooming, and overall health. In the brutal world of first impressions, especially in a hypervisual Instagram Tinder age, this stuff matters more often than guys would like to admit. It's not everything, but it's the gateway. And it's about what women see. Well, firstly, they look at height, not just a shallow preference. Taller men are subconsciously associated with protection and dominance and status. And if you're under 5'9", according to some, you might as well be invisible. She says height doesn't matter, but she says that while texting a 6'2" bartender that she's got a crusher. Fitness also important. A lean, muscular frame signals discipline. Testosterone and health. It doesn't have to be bodybuilder level, but strong, skinny, or overweight. Not asking for a Marvel physique, just look like you've seen the inside of a gym occasionally in your life. Style and grooming, you don't need designer labels, but tailored clothes, clear skin, clean nails, and good hygiene go far. It's about presentation, and that equals self-respect in their eyes. You don't need to look like Ryan Gosling. Just don't look like you sleep face down in gravel. Trim your nose hairs, wash your face, and use soap occasionally. So a reality check for looks that can open doors, but they rarely keep you in the room. A chiseled jawline might get you a flirt, but if you've got zero depth behind it, you'll be ghosted before the second drink. So let's now take a look at the next part of the value ladder, emotional value, which is all about stability and depth. This is where the boys get separated from the men. This is where they get filtered out like last season's Love Island cast. Once a woman sees you as physically viable, she then starts scanning for emotional substance. Can you manage stress? Do you explode under pressure? Are you empathetic? Are you emotionally available, but not needy? Here's where the plot thickens. After she notices you're not Quasimodo, she wants to know, can you hold a conversation without crying, bragging, or quoting Joe Rogan? What women really value is emotional intelligence, the ability to read her moods, communicate clearly, and not fall apart under emotional tension. For stability, you don't have to be a robot. You just need to show some consistency. And in general, a guy who's calm in chaos is more magnetic. If your emotional range goes from angry at traffic to punching walls, then she's out. Empathy, can you listen without interrupting, or are you just sat there waiting for your turn to talk? It's about masculine energy, but this doesn't mean stoicism 24/7. It means centeredness. Basically, leadership without control, calmness without apathy, and empathy without softness. The trap is that we tend to overcorrect sometimes. Some men become very emotionally expressive, trying to be modern and sensitive. And the result usually is that you come across as being soft or even feminine, which can absolutely kill attraction in a woman's eyes. So it's a balance. She wants strength with emotional nuance, not just vulnerability for its own sake. Moving on now to the next value, personal value, which is character, drive, and identity. Now, this might be the most underrated but important part of the ladder, and at some point, women look for who you are beneath the surface, your values, your goals, your discipline, beliefs, and sense of identity. You don't need to be rich or famous, but you do need to be at least going somewhere with clarity. The key elements are as follows. Purpose. To a woman, a man with direction is somewhat intoxicating. He could be an artist, an entrepreneur, carpenter, soldier. It doesn't matter. What really matters is that he knows why he gets out of bed. Authenticity. You'd be shocked how many men shapeshift into what they think women want. It's insecure and transparent, and being you is attractive, but only if the you that you are is self-respecting and growing. Now, there are boundaries. Being too available and compromising your integrity for affection or tolerating disrespect, all of these kind of behaviors bleed value fast. The bonus is this: a sharp wit, good storytelling, and some charisma amplify this particular category. Women want a man who brings a vibe, one that they can respect and admire, not just cuddle with. Now moving on to the next value, which is financial, which is resources, security, and ambition. Now, we're not in a tribal village anymore, but the evolutionary instincts of women haven't disappeared. Women aren't all gold diggers, but the harsh truth is that it's a man's ability to provide that still matters. Even if she makes her own money, it's not about spoiling her, it's about being competent in the world. So let's clear this up. Not all women don't all want you for your money, but they do want to know that you're not one minor inconvenience away from moving back in with your mum. Financial value here isn't about making it rain necessarily. It's about not being a walking liability or one step away from needing your girl as a co-signer for a payday loan. So what really counts here? Well, stability. A man with consistent income, smart money habits is often more attractive long-term than some flashy guy living on credit. And ambition matters. If you're not rich yet, showing potential and drive and a strong work ethic gets you noticed. She's thinking ahead. She's thinking, can this man build a life? Competence. Can you handle your finances, solve problems, and stay afloat when life punches you in the face? If your idea of budgeting is hoping that the credit card's going to go through, then you need help, not a girlfriend. She's not impressed that you bought Dogecoin in 2021. She wants to know if you can handle life when the shit hits the fan and stuff goes wrong. You don't have to be rich, but if your financial plan involves scratch cards and manifesting abundance, then she's probably going to bounce. Now, the dark side here is that some men only rely on this particular pillar. They think money will cover their lack of personality, confidence, or emotional depth, and it doesn't most of the time, depending on what kind of woman you're dealing with. It might buy attention, but rarely respect or real connection. Now let's get on to one of the most important ones, sexual value, which is desire, chemistry, and performance. This is often the least talked about, especially amongst men, but it's crucial, and women want to be wanted, not just dated. Sexual value is about the whole experience, how you initiate, how you flirt, how you handle, how you touch, and ultimately, how you perform. Now, you can be tall, rich, smart, and kind, but if you kiss like a wet sponge and move in bed like you're assembling IKEA furniture without instructions, she's clocking out whether you like it or not. Sexual value is about desire, confidence, and chemistry, not just ticking off positions like it's a workout routine. It's about confidence in the bedroom. Not arrogance, just knowing how to lead, read her body, take your time, and creating safety and passion simultaneously, not creepy, just confident. And there is a difference between a smooth advance and looking like you've learned seduction from Reddit. Can you hold eye contact? Can you flirt, touch without being creepy? Or are you over there sweating like you're diffusing a bomb? In a woman's eyes, it's make or break. The masculine polarity here is about energy. She wants to feel your desire without feeling objectified, and there's a big difference. So the experience for women is more about sensing that you've been there. The more they trust you to bring the heat, you don't have to be a player, just competent and aware. If she's clearly not into it and you're still fumbling around like a raccoon in a tent, stop immediately. She's not looking for an Olympic level, just effort, enthusiasm, and understanding that foreplay isn't just a 90-second shoulder rub. Low value traps here are acting desperate or overeager and letting her lead everywhere sexually. Being overly apologetic for wanting sex, weak boundaries around sexual needs, big no-no, it's a turn-off for women. Put all those things together and you've got the value ladder, but this shifts over time. And here's the kicker. The value ladder isn't fixed. Women assess it dynamically. What mattered at 22 might not matter as much at the age of 35. And here's how it often plays out. In younger years, 18 to 25, it's about looks, sexual chemistry, social status, dominate. She wants excitement, looks, and drama. You just want to be touched. Mid-range, 26 to 35, it's all about emotional stability, financial potential, and character gate. She wants stability, ambition, and less drama. Suddenly, your Hot Wheels collection isn't charming anymore. Later, at 35 plus, it's long-term viability, legacy, depth, and masculinity take center stage here. She wants depth, character, maybe someone who can install a shelf and talk about life. If you're still vaping in cargo shorts, you've lost. So a gym rat with zero ambition might be hot at 21, but out by the time he's 30. He's often seen as stuck. Meanwhile, a less flashy but driven and emotionally sharp guy may skyrocket in value as he matures. So can the ladder be hacked? Well, to a degree, yes. Self-awareness and consistent growth are key here. The ladder isn't about perfection, it's about trajectory. If a woman sees you leveling up in multiple areas, she'll often project forward and assign you a higher value in advance. You don't need to be a 10 in every category, just don't be a walking red flag. So the key is growth. Even if you're a 6 now and you're on your way to becoming an 8 at some point, many women will invest. They're looking for progress, not perfection. So focus on building a strong body. For health and confidence, at least, try not to resemble melted ice cream. Sharpening your mind, reading, thinking, self-control, preferably reading a book without pictures, mastering your emotions, therapy, discipline, stoicism, growing your income and skills. You don't need to be a millionaire just ascending. Even if it's side hustles, just show some hustle. Developing deep self-respect and knowing your self-worth. Knowing when to walk away from what drains it. If you're one of these people who think that she owes you a chance because you're a nice guy, that's the emotional equivalent of handing her a participation trophy and wondering why she's not getting wet. So what's the deal here? Okay. The value ladder isn't a straight game of who's the richest or most jacked. It's a multifactorial system that women often read with incredible tuition. You don't need to max out every category, but you do need to be strong enough across the board that she feels emotionally safe, physically drawn, and intellectually engaged. And sexually desired is always a bonus. They can sniff out insecurity, fake bravado, laziness, and desperation faster than you can open Bumble. You don't need to be perfect, and all women have varied needs and wants, and your position on that ladder will always be perfect for a given percentage of women. Wants a decent guy who can trust or shows interest in them and makes her feel loved and appreciated. So climb the ladder, one step at a time. And if you fall, well, dust yourself down, fix your hair, take a shower, and for heaven's sake, stop quoting Andrew Tate. And remember, women don't fall for perfection, they fall for potential with aligned action. Show growth, show backbone, show you care, but climb that ladder and climb it with confidence. Next time, we'll have a look at how this corresponds to the value ladder if you're in Asia.